that again the malware writer will know that okay, it is actually connected to the internet and there is no kind of fake page that is kind of transferred to the malware. Okay, so now thing is that what I'm doing, what this function is doing is that it is again utilizing this request module and using it has a function called get and is trying to get the URL that we have passed over at google.com. And once it has got the response of that request, what it is doing is that what we can do is that we just comment this out just to kind of make this thing a little bit less complex. Okay, little bit less complex. So give me 1 second. Yeah, so we commented it out. This function will not return. And what we do is that then we read the data. So once we have the response, we try to read the text, the HTML data that has been kind of sent out by Google, and we return that thing to this variable and we print that out. So let's just quickly execute this up. Python 3 and then check internet. Python 3 check internet.py. And if you see after some time, you get the data. And this data is the HTML content of that Google website. Okay, this is the HTML content of the Google website. Okay, and from there, the malware writer will know that it is actually connected. That system is actually connected to the internet. Okay, so this is kind of basic way to kind of know that. Okay, so this is what reputation. So this is what I was telling about the reputation, like how using reputation you can kind of figure out that okay, if that domain is kind of malicious or not. And the other thing is like again for the scenario which I figured out, which I have shared, how you can kind of figure out even if that reputation is a google.com, if it is some part of like malicious, if the malware is trying to kind of utilize that google.com and kind of check out like if this connected to internet. And one of the things by which malware can do that is by utilizing this kind of scripts in a different language, maybe in C language or Python language or any other language. But this will be the core base flow chart by which they will do that. They will try to kind of fetch the URL content by, if they are utilizing Python language, they will definitely try to utilize this kind of script to do that. Okay, so I hope now you have got a good idea like what this reputation means. And now let me just go through my notes and figure out what the next thing I want to share. So next thing what I want to share is the age. Okay, the age of the domain. So let me just write it down. Age of the domain. So what normally happen is that new domains are more likely to be bad. Okay, so let's say you have the DNS logs, and what you do is that in the DNS log, you have like lot of URLs, and you wanted to kind of figure out. So if there are any website, which let's say was created few days back, which was created few days or let's say few hours back, registered few hours back. Okay, registered few hours back. So it adds to a confidence that it might be potentially malicious. The reason is that most of the time what we have seen is that when the malware, when let's say there is a targeted attack on the company, what the malware author will do is that they will they will write a malware which will have, let's say, a C2 domain, like C2 server domain, let's say something for an example, www.something.com. Okay, now they will register this when they are doing a targeted attack. They will register this just few hours before the actual attack that they do the company. And the thing is that why they do that is because let's say if a security guy is trying to kind of figure out, okay, if this URL is malicious or not, what they will do is they will just copy this out and then they will like do a bilateral check, and the bilateral check will say, okay, it is not malicious. Okay, no match is found, for an example. Or let's say they will say that, okay, none of the antiviruses have seen that this is malicious. Okay, so when someone does only the reputation check, they will kind of, the security team will fail, because thing is that none of the antiviruses has seen this website earlier. So they can't say if it is malicious or not. So that's one thing. So over here, the reputation of that domain will not work. So as I'm telling always, we shouldn't depend on just one parameter. We need to kind of depend on multiple parameters. And for the time, but for the time by when I started this discussion, I actually told that a lot of different parameters that we need to kind of check. So I will suggest you guys is that you come up with a script in Python that does those things for you. Okay, it just not check only one parameter for you, but it checks a lot of different parameters for you, and then it kind of says you like how confident that is that like that domain is malicious or not. So now the thing is that if we just do the reputation check over here for this domain, it is bound to fail because no antivirus will tell that it is malicious because they have never seen this website. This is the first time they are saying this website. Okay, because this was a targeted attack and the website owner, the malware author, has actually kind of registered this domain just few hours back. Okay, now how we can do that? Now the thing is that how we can kind of achieve this functionality, how we can know if that website is kind of malicious or not by using the age check. Age of the domain is by again like going over here and kind of doing the search that we did earlier or this one. Yes. Okay, now this is the one. Okay, now when we let's imagine that this is the URL of the C2 domain, which it is, but let's say the malware writer has actually registered this just few minutes back or few hours back. So what the balance will tell us is the creation date. Creation date will be something like what they will say is that let's say the date will come as today's date, and it will say that okay, just 1 hour back this thing was registered. Okay, by using this way we can kind of find out okay what is the age of the website, and as I told the new domains are more likely to be bad. Okay, and if it is like let's say old domains, it might not be bad. So we need to kind of not just again depend on age feature. Like if we have like let's say we just depend on age and we have a malicious domain over here, we see the age, it's like 4 months ago we said okay it's not malicious, but we need to combine both the things. We need to combine the reputation and we also need to combine the age parameter. Then only we need to kind of take a decision if that domain is kind of malicious or not. Okay, so that's one thing. So over here we see that okay, let's imagine that it was connected 1 hour back. So it will add to a confidence that this malware, this domain is kind of let's say is malicious or not. So the other thing that we can also do via terminal. Via terminal, what we can do is that let's say we clear this up, and what we do is like who is, and what we do is that let's say we do google.com. We run a whois command, and unfortunately this command is not installed. So I'll just quickly install that apt install whois. Since I'm already in root, I think this Remnex already has root feature, so that's why sudo was not needed. Okay, so now let me just quickly see if that thing get installed, and I think it will be installed in just few seconds. So let me do that. And it's almost done. Okay, so anyways, thing is that as I was telling, we need to also kind of look at different parameters. So age is one of the things which we can kind of utilize. And again, thing is that you can again do that using, let me just give me 1 second. Okay. Just give me 1 second. So let this one just, okay. So this is now done. And let me just, okay, so now what I will do is that I'll just do clear and I will just do whois and I will do www.google.com. Okay, and this is the whole data that came up. I think there is some issues. Okay, the last update of whois data, I think .com. I think there's some issues with that whois, but let's pick up this one.